And welcome back. As we go ahead and continue working with C, let's go ahead and take a moment to look at how we can handle switch cases as another form of conditional branching. So with the switch statement, this is of course something we are familiar with from working with Java, and it selects one of many code blocks to be executed when we actually have it implemented. So how it works is very similar to what we expect in Java. The switch statement expression is evaluated once. The value expression is compared with the values of each case in that expression. If there is a match, the associated block of code is then executed. If there is a break statement, it's simply going to break it out of that switch block and stop execution. And then we also have a default statement, which can be optional, which again functions very similar to our else statements. And that is also going to specify some code to run if there is no case match. So one of the things to keep in mind is, of course, our keywords, the first of which is break. When C reaches a break keyword, it breaks out of that switch block. We have the same thing can happen, of course, with if-else statements. We can put a break statement into an if-else statement. It'll function the same way. This, of course, will stop the execution of more code and case testing within inside of that block. Now, a break, of course, can save block's execution time because it ignores the execution of the rest of the code that's in that switch block. And also, the other thing to, of course, examine is the default keyword. The default keyword specifies some code to run if there is no case match. Like I already said, this is very similar to our else statement in that it kind of acts as a catch-all situation for things we may not anticipate. Now, the default keyword must be used as the last statement in the switch, but it does not need to have a break statement, because C understands if it's the default, you're not going to have necessarily a break because it doesn't have any more conditions that need to be tested after it. And here we have a quick switch example. So the example right uses the variable day to calculate the weekday name. So up here you can see we have int day equals 4. And then of course we have a nice good breakdown of how that's going to go here. So we should test this for, you look for the case value, case is 4, it prints out Thursday and falls out of that. Let's go ahead and take a look, though, now at another example of a switch statement. So here is a switch statement that I went ahead and created, and you can see I have an int called flavor choice, and I'm asking the user to enter their choice of ice cream, vanilla, chocolate, or twist, and it's going to get that choice from the user, and then based upon that choice, it's going to go ahead and choose one of those case statements. And of course, you notice that each of these have the break underneath them, and of course, the default does not. So let's just run this real quick. And if I go ahead and say, let's say chocolate and hit enter, you can say can never go wrong with chocolate. So it falls right into that condition. Now, what would happen though if I were to run that and I were to remove this break out of here? So I'm just going to go ahead and rerun this one more time. And let's go ahead and press chocolate again. So press 2. And you get can never go wrong with chocolate. Twist is the best of both worlds. So this is something to keep in mind that just like how we saw this back with Java, the same thing can happen here, is that if I don't put these break statements here, it can, of course, can allow that code to continue execution. So very important that we put those in there if we don't want that to move on to another place. Now, there might be times you do want that to be able to test more than one case, and in that case, not including a break statement might be your best option because maybe you want both of those lines of execution to occur during that time.